Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today we've got a game between Dorado, our Africa Corps player, and AndreiM2006 as our US player. The map is Villa War. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it, man. I don't even know why I try. I'm going to call it Villa. This is the first time I've seen this map. And let's take a quick look at it together. So it looks like you have some attached guaranteed resources to your base here. Then a cutoff separating you from some more important resources over here. And same mirror happening on this side. So these cutoff points do look fairly far forward, and this one is even more dramatically far forward. So looks like it's going to be an interesting map. Center of the map has some sight blockers, a big old building, but the building doesn't have windows that face where troops are most likely to come from. So that's an interesting map design element there. Some more buildings down here separated by a terrace. Yeah, this is going to be a cool map. I'm excited to see this game play out. So, okay, so our Africa Corps player is going in for a build I haven't seen before, which you'd think, I mean, how many builds can there be when there's only like 3 units to build at the start of the game? But he's chosen to build 3 Panzer Pioneers and a motorbike. That motorbike just phased through the ground. That was pretty neat. Jumping off that staircase like that. And our US player has also gone for a fairly unique strategy. He's gone 2 scouts into 2 heavy machine guns. So, got these beginnings of an unusual game. Looks like the map is going to shake out relatively evenly. Our German player totally ignoring this manpower point in favor of trying to fight over actual resources in the center of the map. Nothing wrong with that. Heavy machine gun had a shot on that motorbike for about 2 seconds. Now it's going to have to reposition. Motorbike's going to have to get out of there. Just looking for easy captures. Probably going to go pick up that munitions point on the bottom side. Making use of this building in the middle here is our German player. Fighting off this heavy machine gun. A 3rd heavy machine gun is on the field and on its way. German player continuing his unusual build. Going for the Assault Grenadier squad. Curious to see how this squad works out against heavy machine guns. It does have access to a smoke grenade, which is going to let him approach the heavy machine guns from the front arc. So I think that's a good add-on potentially here. We'll see how he wants to use it. German player putting down mines. Great decision making, right? Make your opponent's life more difficult whenever possible, especially in the early game when you don't have a ton to spend your munitions on. What am I saying? Any time is a good time to add on mines. Add them on all game long. Thank yourself later. The machine gun moving up, probably to steal this building away. Those Panzer Pioneers are not going to be happy about that. They're out of there. Second squad of Assault Grenadiers called in as well. Looks like he managed to steal... Is that a stolen heavy machine gun? I think that it is. Because our US player added on a 4th heavy machine gun and I missed its death there, so that's crazy. Motorbike, scooting around, trying to capture territory. It's really fun to watch good players use motorbikes. They keep them alive for a long time and can do some pretty crazy stuff with them. Heavy machine gun setting up on this motorbike. He's going to have to get out of there. And I think he's going to barely get out of there. He was trying to finish that capture. I don't blame him. He can stop income for his opponent. That's really good for him. So, that's alright. U.S. player finally adding on an infantry squad in the form of his captain by taking that infantry command post. That's not the right word for it. We'll roll with it. Assault Grenadiers pushing away this heavy machine gun. Scout squad gonna get involved there, fight it back, basically on the doorstep of the U.S. player's base. Continuing to push, that's a little risky, isn't it? I guess it's not that risky. Big grenades coming out from the Grenadiers, wiping that squad. There's no way he's able to capture that in front of that heavy machine gun. Captain pushing in to support here. Those Grenadiers are probably going to push that captain. Sounds like there's another fight going on over here. Gonna check that out now. Heavy machine guns duking it out. The heavy machine gun in the building is obviously going to win the fight. German player adding on a medic truck to heal his squads to full when they're back at base. U.S. player adding on a... I think that's the assault vehicle. What it's called, armored personnel carrier. I suspect he'll be going for the AA upgrade on that to give him some really nasty anti-infantry capability. Now what's crazy on this side of the map, and I've kind of been ignoring the state of the map here in favor of looking at these fights, but our German player has managed to capture both of what I call the guaranteed points. Of course, they're not guaranteed, but they are attached to your base, and they're very far away from your opponent's base, making them hard to capture, and therefore almost guaranteed. But our German player managed to snatch them both away. He's probably going to get the cutoff point this time. Here comes the AA oh, it's not upgraded yet. He isn't currently upgrading it. But that captain squad inside is going to be a nuisance. Leveling up there a little bit. Fight going down on this side, heavy machine gun pinning that squad. US player capturing back his territory.
Capture point is being overrun.
So yeah, a little peace and quiet for just a moment here. I think that gives us just a little bit of time to talk about each player's battle group choice. Our US player has gone, our German player has gone for the Italian infantry. He's picked up the defensive operations as his first upgrade, which lets him build a whole bunch of stuff with his engineering squads. And that's what this is here. Panzer Pioneers built this heavy machine gun bunker. Really locking down the center point. U.S. player, on the other hand, has added on the assault carrier. He's gone for the heavy weapons, which is a really popular build at this stage. And let's hold that thought, because we got an armored car here absolutely shredding these heavy machine guns. Probably going to have to retreat both. Grenades thrown into the path of the retreating infantry. He overshot it, but it was a nice attempt at trying to wipe that squad. Armored car pushing away pushing away all the infantry on the map. So what I was going to say is, our US player's gone for heavy weapons, which gives him access, gives him stronger M3 assault carriers, and he's also taken the ability that lets him swap out the upgrade that he's got equipped to his aft tracks here, so he can switch basically at will between infantry and anti-tank. And I was going to say, I expect we're going to see him switch to the anti-tank, but it looks like he's trying to rely on this bazooka squad. Both vehicles are barely going to live there, it looks like. Barely. Yep, no bazooka shot there. So that was very close for both players. You know, that was a smart decision to add on this bazooka squad from our US player. I'm a little surprised he didn't go for the anti-tank variant of the half-track, given that he has exchangeable parts there. But yeah, second heavy machine gun nest also set up facing the center. I'm not sure how much I like that. just really wants to lock down this central area. So, I mean, seems to be working for him, so who am I to judge? German player adding on the prepared positions battle group choice, giving him extended range. So let me show you just how dramatic that is, because it's absolutely insane. So normally this heavy machine gun nest could see to like here, but with this upgrade it can basically see all the way to the edge of its range, and that's just insane. This ability also affects just regular heavy machine guns. So, and it also affects I believe it affects points. Let me see. Nope, just emplacements and weapon teams. Another heavy machine gun going down to this armored car. Infantry. Half-track pushing in to have a say about this. There's those smoke grenades from the assault grenadiers. Panzer Pioneers taking away that heavy machine gun. And buttoning that. That was cool. That's a cool use of an ability. What's doing that? That was the motor carriage. I have not seen a player use that before, but he buttoned the car there so that it wasn't as effective in combat. Smoke grenades going back and forth, blocking the side of these heavy machine guns. Here's a call-in from our German player, I believe. And I'm not sure what that call-in was. Was that this artillery from this tractor? It was. So this is not a unit you see very often. I really like this add-on. It reveals units in the fog of war when it stays stationary. It's got a couple call-ins it can do. It can capture and deploy smoke grenades, so it's a very high utility and mobile support unit. So that's what this is here. The German player can see his opponent in the fog of war, and that's what that icon is showing us. German player is out to a strong lead in terms of victory points. He's been in control of 2 victory points minimum for the most of the game. Heavy machine gun probably can't stay here very long. You know, the armored car is an interesting vehicle to me, in that its armor seems just strong enough to stand up to infantry, whereas a lot of vehicles aren't. So it's kind of in this weird niche where it's terrible against vehicles and really good against infantry, without a ton of micro, which I think is just kind of a cool thing. I think that's another call-in from our tractor, barraging this spot here. German player adding on a Martyr 3 anti-tank unit to try and deal with some of the light vehicles he's been facing. US player has added on a second AA half-track, which is a little surprising to me. I would expect him to add on some anti-armor, but he's choosing to continue. Oh, there he goes, and he just did it. So now he's going to barrage probably this unit here. And that squad's going to have to move, probably, assuming he notices. Martyr 3 coming in. Gonna push back that half-track. Now, these half-tracks are, you know, because our US player has gone for this heavy weapons battle group, these half-tracks are surprisingly tanky. Needs to be careful of that mine. I don't know if he saw it get planted. German player continuing to build these heavy machine gun nests. You know, I wonder how much those cost. Let me find out. $200 manpower. So those are not cheap. Those are 200 manpower each. But they're working for him. It looks like our German player just kind of wants to draw a line in the sand and say, you shall not pass. So that's a really bad place for that half-track to be. I suspect it's going to be dead here. There's a fight going on between those half-tracks up there and this Martyr 3. Both players looking like they want to back off. Heavy machine gun pinning that engineer there. And with that, I think the German player is going to control all 3 victory points. think our U.S. player should be thinking about a change of strategy here. He's really, really focused on this bottom side, and I think he should be considering this top side. But our German player has done an excellent job locking down the map. I mean, he's got mines freaking everywhere. There are just mines. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mines placed. I mean, that's crazy. That's really well done by him. He's got these heavy machine guns locking down. He added on a Martyr 3 to try and deal with these half-tracks. There is another half-track on the field. Looks like it went for the AT upgrade. And I have seen U.S. players come back from situations like this through the use of these half-tracks just by spamming them. And so we'll see if that's what ends up happening for our U.S. player, but he really needs to address his victory point deficit sooner rather than later. Wouldn't mind seeing some indirect fire from him. By the way, I love our U.S. player added on minesweepers to deal with the plethora of mines he's been running into. Interestingly enough, this half-track is not tasked with only firing at tanks. Oh, that's a dead Martyr 3. That's really, really important for our U.S. player. That's going to give him a window of opportunity here. Love to see a barrage coming out from that half-track. Potentially. Second half-track coming in. It's got the AA upgrades, so... Armored car pushing in to shove away these engineers from the victory point. There's that barrage I was talking about. Getting some good hits. That heavy machine gun's going to leave. And now that he's got some control over this area, I'd love to see him push up and blast that heavy machine gun nest. And that's what I was meaning when I said some indirect fire. I'd love to see a mortar, but I think he can pick up pretty easily. Sorry, I'm going to check real quick. Yeah, so I mean, oh no, he can't. Okay, never mind. He'd have to build a building in order to get it. He just lost a bazooka squad there. I think they got pinned down. Maybe grenaded there. Nice job by our German player to repair up his heavy machine guns, so he's continuing to invest time into those things, and I mean, it's worth it, right? They've been holding these points down for him. Honestly, our U.S. player doesn't need to really go in here. He does need to go up here, but he seems to have totally decided to ignore the middle. Probably because our or British, excuse me, probably because our Africa Corps player invested so many heavy machine guns in the area. I think this is a good decision. Bring all his might to bear. But the problem remains, he still needs to capture another point. And that is going to be a tall order. Martyr 3 added on here. Is it dead? Nice try. I think he had to attack ground there to get his unit to fire into the fog of war there. But yeah. So, does he have any smoke grenades? No. Yeah. So it looks like our German player is going to push the U.S. player back with his heavy machine gun nests. I suspect that may be the end of the road for our U.S. player, losing that bazooka squad on this cutoff point. Yeah, I mean, our German player has controlled this game from the very outset, right? I mean, we saw him diving deep, taking away cutoff points, controlling, points I consider to be guaranteed to the U.S. player. Yeah, I mean, it was just a clinic by our German player. Once he had control over that territory, he locked it down further with mines and HMG nests, and then he brought in heavy machine guns that he's stolen, and yeah, it was just really, really nice. And I loved those assault grenadiers. Like, those things did some work using their smoke grenades to get close to the heavy machine guns, using their grenade ability to just absolutely wreck anything standing still. It was just a really, really well played game by our German player. I did like, I thought our U.S. player had a decent strategy. There were a couple times where it felt like he didn't have the tools that he needed to succeed. In particular, when he stayed invested in those half tracks, those AA half tracks, when I felt like he was needing to switch. He never found an efficient way to remove those heavy machine guns. He didn't go around them very efficiently. So I know it sounds like I'm ragging on our U.S. player. I'm just thinking about what he could have done differently. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.